This is a sci-fi romance film where two lovers live on a ship in outer space. The movie begins with a spaceship named Avalon which is headed towards a planet colonized by the humans named Homestead 2. Inside the ship, we can see empty areas and the ship is set on the autopilot. Later, we see hibernation pod containing 258 crew members of the ship along with 5,000 passengers. With some rumble, the ship struggles to get through an asteroid belt. It activates a shield, but a big asteroid damages some systems of the Avalon ship. Avalon starts its self-repairing system, but during this, a passenger pod gets activated. A man emerges from pod. His name is Jim Preston. He is a mechanical engineer. Upon waking up, he is greeted with a digital assistant who tells him he has been asleep for 120 years in hibernation and they will reach Homestead 2 in just 4 months. Jim smiles thinking his journey is about to begin. The assistant shows him various luxuries that he can use during this 4-month period with his companion. Later, he is told about his ID band and his cabin. Jim is excited to meet his companions but also feel nervous about the journey. He gets ready to meet everyone. He first goes to a class which was supposed to be given to everyone. The hologram assistant explains why they had to leave Earth and give some details. But Jim gets more nervous seeing he is the only one in the class. He gets out of the class to find more people but no one seems to be awake. He goes to the main area but it is empty as well. There, he sees an information desk and asks him if he can speak to a real human being. He then runs towards the captain's bridge. His ID is not higher authority and that's why he cannot go inside. But through a small window, he can see not a single crew member is awake. Later, we see Jim in the observatory room where he sees a digital hologram of space and learns the ship is still 90 years away from the destination. Scared, Jim heads back to the information desk and asks how he can send message to the Earth. He records a video message asking what he can do. The machine shows that it will take 55 years to get any reply from the Earth. He walks in depression and then when he is walking past a bar, he sees another human. Jim runs towards this person but upon their conversation, he figures that this person is an AI. His name is Arthur. Later, we see him going to the canteen to get some coffee. He tries to learn how he can fix this hibernation chamber but nothing works. He even tries to break down the captain's bridge door to get some access, but nothing works on the door. In the background, we can see the ship is going through minor malfunctions. He then goes to talk to the Arthur, the AI. After their conversation, Jim breaks down the gold class rooms to experience some of the luxurious facilities. He spends a lot of time here playing games, eating food, and watching movies. But as he keeps doing things again and again, he starts to feel more depressed. He stumbles upon a space suit and goes outside the ship. His experience leaves him in tears. His frustration and misery makes him want to kill himself. He tries to go outside the ship without a suit but gets a cold feet. While running back, he slips on a bottle. Getting up, his eyes fall on a girl sleeping inside a pod. Her name is Arora. Jim goes to search for her from the archives. There he finds out her interview to become one of the passengers on the ship. He gets obsessed with her. He gets an idea to wake her up from the pod. Waking her up means she will die on the ship as well before reaching the destination. He finally manages to open her pod. While she is getting greeted by the assistant, he hides all the tools he used to get open the pod. Later, he goes to the main area of the ship hoping she might be there. She is there just as confused as Jim was on his first day. He takes her to the observatory room to explain everything. He explains everything that he has tried to fix their situation. Arora starts to panic, runs to the pods and tries to get in the hibernation again. Jim tells her they can't go back to sleep. He asks Arthur not to tell her how she woke up. Next day, Aurora wakes up and asks a question to the information desk. Both Jim and Aurora head towards the canteen to eat. Because Aurora has higher authority, she can get gold class meals. She notices Jim has been eating the same meal over and over, so she offers him a gold class meal. She also tries everything, even breaking the bridge door to get main access, but nothing works. Jim notices some problem with the ship, a cleaning robot bumping into the wall again and again. Aurora on the other side spends her time swimming or jogging. To cheer Aurora, Jim takes her to do all the activities together. They play games, dance, watch movies and lastly visit Arthur. She starts to feel calm until she remembers their horrible situation. She leaves and Jim feels more guilty looking at her. To make her feel good, Jim creates a miniature chrysler building model. She loves this gift and later both of them go on a date. While having dinner, she explains about her past and shares how her father passed away. Jim takes her for a surprise. They both can be seen wearing the space suit and Jim shows her how they can float outside the ship. After sharing this incredible experience together, both feel connected. Upon getting back inside the ship, both start making out. They spend the night together and start to live like an actual couple. Jim travels across the ship to bring Arora some flowers. On Aurora's birthday, Jim takes her to some of the restaurants and at last they come to visit Arthur. Jim has built a ring to propose. While talking to Arthur, he tells her about how she woke up. Arora gets devastated and feels betrayed. Jim tries to approach her in the canteen, but she walks away in anger. In anger, she goes to Jim's cabin to beat him. She picks up an object to hit him but leaves from the room. Jim uses a communication speaker to apologize to Arora. He expresses he loves her, but she still ignores him. Later, we see the ship is struggling through many problems. It suddenly experiences malfunctions. Jim in the elevator gets stuck. Even the canteen food starters are floating everywhere. After a while, they hear a voice from the communication speaker asking who planted the tree. Arora and Jim run towards the main area where the tree had been planted. There, they see Mancuso, who is the chief. They explain their situation. The chief wants to understand how 3 pods have been opened like this. Mancuso has access to the bridge door and he takes them with him. He says they will have to check everything manually. Upon walking, a robot falls from above, barely missing Mancuso. They explain to him that the problem have been going on for a while. He shows them how to collect the ship's data. While checking their pods, Mancuso understands why Aurora's pod was open. Even he tells him what Jim had done was terrible. Arora goes to Mancuso to talk with him and asks if she can get back to sleep, but he tells her there is nothing they can do. Jim comes into the room to show another robot that has been broken down. Mancuso gets dizzy and goes to get some rest. On his way, he coughs up blood. Arora is unable to sleep and goes for a swim, but something goes wrong with the gravitation system. The water starts to float like a bubble, drowning Arora. She barely survives as the gravitation system gets back online. Jim and Arora rush over to find Mancuso. They all discover something happened 2 years ago that has damaged the ship. They have to fix this, but Mancuso passes out. They bring him to the infirmary, but they learn he is going to die soon. Mancuso gives his ID to Jim and tells them to fix the ship before it kills everyone on it. After he dies, the lights turn red and the ship starts to shake. They turn him off and reach the engineering room. While checking some of the room, they are pulled with a strong force. Some small microbes have breached the ship, causing damage. Jim saves Arora and both of them find more breaches. They see one of the meteoroids has hit the reactor computer, causing all the malfunction. Jim say they can fix the reactor by replacing some of the parts, but to start the reactor, they have to do the manual resetting. But even then, it fails to start. Jim says they have to go outside the ship to open one of the vents. After wearing the spacesuit, Jim gives Mancuso's ID to Arora in case he doesn't come back. She tells him to come back because she won't be able to live without him. Arora goes back to the reactor. Jim on the other side is approaching the vent door. He realizes he has to hold the door open. He tells Arora about this. She refuses to accept this plan. They both argue and Arora explains she doesn't want him to die, but Jim goes ahead anyway. Arora completes her part of the plan. The bits of a metal and fumes quickly impale Jim's spacesuit, pushing him away from the ship. His suit pressure is dropping, making him freeze slowly. He tells Arora about his situation to Arora and apologizes to her for everything he had done. During this, Arora is running as fast as she can to get another spacesuit. She goes outside the ship but can't reach Jim as her safety net is restricting her. Suddenly, Jim's broken safety net gets in her hand and she pulls him inside the ship. He has no pulse. She brings him to the infirmary and uses Mancuso's ID to perform medical procedure. Jim revives back from the dead. Arora says she forgives him and kisses him. Later, we see both of them giving Mancuso burial. Jim has learned that they can use the medical pod from the infirmary as a hibernation pod. He tells her to get inside and continue her journey, but Arora declines his suggestion because she wants to stay with him. Later, we see Jim proposing to Arora and both live their life together. 88 years later, we see all the crew members waking up and witnessing grass and trees all over the main area of the ship. Arora leaves them a message telling them all about her and Jim's journey.